Hello, guys. Welcome to Iterate second episode, and today I have Tushar as my new guest, who is a FMCG brand designer as well as has expertise in package designing. So, hi Tushar. Welcome to Designers, and can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you once to introduce me. And I'm really grateful that you called me out to discuss on design. So yeah, I'm Tushar Singh. I'm a logo, identity, and a packaging designer. For the last 5 years, I've been working with different brands, and finally, I found myself good best at the FMCG design. So I really liked it. Yeah, I'm continuing it. We'll discuss more it in depth so you get to know how I process my designs and how I deal with it.
Got it.
Yeah, we can
So let's
start on a
start. Yeah,
discussion.
let's start with the questions. So first questions
Yeah,
obviously is always the roadmap. So I would like to
yeah.
ask, what's the basic roadmap of package design and logo designing,
Mhm.
and basically
Okay,
overall FMCG? Yeah.
understood, understood. So in general, like if you're learning anything, either it's design or anything in your career, the basic starts with learning the principle of it. So in design, there are certain rules that you have to learn, like typography, colors, understanding of tools. That is primary thing that you have to learn. So the basic tools that are required in design are Photoshop Suite. Other than that, people prefer Corel Draw. That is something uh, a choice. So yeah, to start with, you need to learn the tools. Then you need to learn the principle. Once you are clear with the basic, there is a wide field in design that you have to explore. There
Hmm.
can be logo design, there can be some UI UX designer,
Hmm.
there is a lot of new age designing in which you will see a lot of posters coming in their own style. If you have seen of Bogasm, have you seen it?
Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
Instagram artist, right?
Yes, he got famous on Instagram, so he
Hmm.
started a series called Bogasm. Nothing existed of that kind, but yeah, he created a revolution with his designs, and it's now famous. So yeah, design is a very wild field.
Hmm.
Is Design is a very wide field, so you can explore a lot of careers, but you need to be clear with the basics. You can be confident and skilled in any specific field that you choose.
Hmm.
Pretty much like that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
So you mentioned at the start like rules and regulations that we have to follow.
yeah,
So
yeah.
can you elaborate
Mhm.
further on that?
Okay, so for typography,
Hmm.
I'm just giving an example. It's easy to understand. For example, typography, you are usually told to use, do not use Comic Sans, do not use script fonts for tech brands, and there are certain kind of rules that you cannot do.
Hmm.
If it's a luxury brand, you cannot use playful fonts, and if it's a minimal brand, you should use a sans serif. So people who are designer can understand it better. But yeah, for a vague person, it is more like you are told to put pieces in an order. Okay, to write a heading in certain manner, to put a copy in certain manner, position your image. But once you learn the basics, you know how to make a composition, and you know how to create an aesthetic design.
Yeah.
And once you start doing something in a specific area, then obviously you can break the rules, you can start learning new things, and you can explore as well. And because design is always very experimental, you can always do something new, have some fun with it, and that's the way to go ahead.
So yeah, like as you mentioned, fonts and typographies, right? So
Mhm.
as you mentioned in like luxury brands, we have to follow a
Yeah.
specific theme, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And side by side, like if you are making a fun brand, so similarly
Mhm.
fun typographies can come into place. Got it, got
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Amazing insights. So,
Okay.
moving on. How
Mhm.
I was thinking, how actually is FMCG brand designing different from other types of designing?
Okay. Okay. Just to differentiate the designs, for example, FMCG is basically day-to-day consumer goods, okay, that you see in a mall, that
Hmm.
you buy on Amazon usually. It is mostly the food products or the product that stays in yourself for a shorter time. Okay. So with these products, what is required is attention. You need people to look at your product, and you need to provide the information in a very simple manner so people find it interesting and easy to use as well. So for example, how different it is from any other type of logo and identity design, or in general graphic design, is, for example, if you are designing for a tech startup or maybe for an e-learning platform, your main focus is how the branding will go on the product itself. How will you leverage the identity design for social media? How will you leverage it for promotions? That is the main focus. That is not limited to it, but obviously it is a very main part of it. In the other hand, in FMCG brands, it is more important how it will go on a print,
Yeah.
how it will look on a printed carton, maybe a packet. So that is something I'm just discussing the major parts where it differentiate. And other than that, you do not have actually the benefits of digital screens in FMCG.
Yeah.
You cannot use a lot of effects or kind of editing, but you have to be very strategic with your designs. If you'll go in a mall, like if you'll go in a 24/7, you'll see 10 bottles of juices.
Yeah.
But eventually you are going to pick one. Why did you make that decision? What was something that you liked? And as per my experience, all the products in 24/7 are new to me. Every time I go, I'll find 2 or 3 products that I've already used, and there will be 3 to 4 products new, because they are just promoting themselves starting out, and obviously it's a good platform to do that. So very very much like differentiation part, I'd say it's more of a experiencing brand that you get to experience. Like if you are using a website, you use it for 5 minutes and then you might use it again. So in that case, you will require is you can have different interfaces, you can have different integration to make your audience engaged. But with FMCG, it is just one time. You will use it and they just put it. The design is just like a manual for them. If you, for example, you use your shampoo on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
but you don't want your shampoo to confuse with your conditioner. That is also something that the use cases of it, how you highlight the information that is required, is also important part of the FMCG branding. So yeah, there's a lot, but yeah, I have highlighted what came to my mind in the first go.
Yeah. So understood. So basically creating like an attraction point for a specific brand.
Yes.
So you mentioned juices, right? So like for example, if we take Real, so their designs are like quite attractive and they follow an orange theme for all of their package designs. So I think there's a theme also that goes in. Okay, understood.
Usually it's colors. If you'll see, either it's a green color or it's a neon color. But the color on screens and color on products and packaging designs are very different.
Yeah.
That is also something that is in particularly very different from the other brands in or FMCG.
Got it. So as now we are in 2023, right? This new buzzword came into our minds, AI, artificial intelligence, and everyone was using ChatGPT. Everyone was using it for making, completing homeworks, assignments, and everything. I would like to ask. I asked Rishant also, how actually AI is playing a different role in overall designing, and how it can affect in the future.
Okay, so I get this question a lot, like on my Instagram as well. There are a lot of people who comment AI is going to replace you, AI is going to replace the job of so many people, including designers as well. So far my experience is that I have been more productive with the help of AI. So to use AI, it is also a skill to use the AI in itself. So if you will give AI a random prompt, it will create generic answers that you might not prefer, and if you are using them, it would be better to Google them. You might find better answers, because it is just taking all that data what is available on the internet and providing you a random guess because you have asked a random question. In order to use the best of AI, you need to understand your skills and what part you actually want AI to help you. For example, in my case, I'm not that good of a content writer. So what I do, I'll go to ChatGPT and give it a prompt that I'm working on this brand and I require a certain tagline. What is required is that this brand is X, it is selling the Y product, and its target audience is Z. So I have given it certain area where it should create answers around. Then I will give it prompts like you need to come up with certain taglines that resonates with Indian culture, yet it is very modern, and it should have 2-3 words. And if I want wordplay like Fun Day Friday or Monday Moods, I can also give some prompts regarding that. So yeah, it will generate really good responses, and then you'll obviously have to modify them according to your requirements. Otherwise, it will not sound relevant. So yeah, I use AI to generate a lot of brand stories, brand keywords, taglines, mostly the content part. I'm not using AI image generation that much because I find old methods to be like better
Yeah.
than the half rendered AI images, but
Yeah.
it can be useful when you want to explain it to the audience or your client.
So, as I think AI is evolving, right, day by day, have you heard
Yeah.
of DALI as an AI generation tool?
Yes,
It is
yes, I have.
amazing at generating images of your specific
Yes.
prompt. So,
Yes.
can different brands like use these free AI tools other than DALI and actually build their own package designs? Do you think it can help in that?
It can be done totally. Like again, there's a point where we need to create conclusions. So that point for me is looking at the AI, how it is developed today and how it will be developed in the future, like for in 5 to 10 years. So it can create static or stock designs, or in any specific field it can create stock codes, and if you give certain prompts. But what it cannot do, it cannot come up with strategies, it cannot connect your designs with an emotion. For example, every time you see a Cadbury ad, you see it on Raksha Bandhan and you see it on the Valentine's Day as well. But the emotion is changed. The brand feels like the same with something new, but the emotion is changed. So that is something AI is not there yet. Again,
I think
and
AI
for
cannot
that,
add the human touch that is missing.
yes,
I guess.
that human touch will be always required, because you know the people, you know how they think, and you have certain experience as well that how things should be. With AI, you have to give certain prompts, and it will generate what you will ask it to. It cannot generate something on its own. So yeah, we can rely on AI
Yeah.
to help us with our process, but yeah, it is not going to replace us if we have something specific. If we are expert at something, if we are specific with our skills, and we are creating something new, we are exploring something new. Although packaging design has existed for a long time, but still there are a lot of new brands coming in the market, and they are just benchmarking their brand by just packaging design. Or there are a lot of aspects, like there are a lot of brands who are just excelling the marketing, there are brands who are excelling their services. So there are a lot of methods, and design is one of them.
Got it. Understood. So I was
Yeah.
just going through your, logos that you
Mm.
have put. So you
Yeah.
recently put on a story about the
Hmm.
FreePix new logo, and you
Yeah.
did a comparison as well as with the
Yes.
new
Yes.
Johnson's logo as well.
Yeah. I created the poll so I can.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
getting into the logo aspect of brand designing,
Hmm.
do you think a good logo make can help a overall brand?
Okay. So yes, it does help a brand. For example, we are doing this podcast,
Hmm.
and we created an amazing podcast.
Hmm.
People want to listen more about us.
Hmm.
But if we keep changing profiles, one day we are using your profile, another day I am using my profile, or sometimes we are putting up some characters, Monkey D. Luffy on the profile. So yeah, people will not recognize us, and we will lose certain benefits that we could have.
Hmm.
Although our content is great, we are creating content on a continuous basis, but since we are not memorable, we are not identifiable in the market or in the places that we should, we face a certain loss. There are a lot of rural brands who does not have a single design, but they have to go to every and other customer manually. They have to do everything on their own.
Hmm.
What does design do for you? What does a logo packaging do for you? That it automates your recognition, it automates your customer base. It works as a marketing tool for the packaging, and for the logo it is your identifier. For example, if I know a person, once I see his face, I know it is that person and I can talk to him. I know where we left, but that person comes in a mask
Hmm.
or with a different look.
Yeah.
I might not prefer to talk to him because I may be not that confident that he is the same person or not. That is why a logo makes sure that your audience is connected with your product,
Hmm.
and your logo is memorable so you get repeat customers. These are points from FMGC perspective, but it applies to every other category. For example, I get confused while opening the X.com's logo.
Yeah.
So the other day I got two notifications,
Hmm.
one from X.com, one from another app that start with X, and both the logos were similar, kind of. So I got confused that what are these X's. So when I just drop down the menu,
Hmm.
so I get to know. Okay. So when I use Twitter, the color blue reminded more than the icon as well.
Yeah.
Like I'll just scroll and tap on the exact icon every time. That's the beauty of a good logo and a good strategy with color and everything. It helps you differentiate, it makes you memorable, and it helps you stand out.
Amazing. Amazing. So moving on, we have covered logo aspects. If we get
What do
into
you
the
think?
proper designing side, there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of problems that everyone face.
Yeah.
So what are the main problems you think a designer can face while moving into FMCG?
First of all, what's the hardest part? First of all, what is the hardest part is starting something.
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of young aspirants for design. They want to learn, they want to start, but they'll keep asking me which YouTube channel should I watch,
Hmm.
which course should I pay, which designer should I follow. The first thing is to start it. You can see 100 videos, start with one, learn at least 10 videos. Once you have the skills, you can see if it's benefiting you or if it's the right kind of skill for you or not. Then the second thing is practicing. Like it sounds very cliche that the more you practice the more you get better, but like I started the design in 2017.
Hmm.
It's been like almost uh, 5 to 6 years now,
Hmm.
but prior to that as well I was like involved in the design. What I did is, this is from my experience, so it can be totally uh, irrelevant to someone's skill set, that is something else. But yeah, if you have learned the tools, if you are doing practice, then I think it's just you need to figure out what's the next step. It can be starting a new project, it can be starting a passion project, it can be doing something that's already done. You can start copying. You want to create a good logos, start copying good logos. Once you have copied like 100 good logos, I think, and I also believe that you can come up with one original logo at least. And you do it repeatedly and you'll get better. Now the coming to the part that how to pursue a career in design. So coming to that, there are two aspects. You are doing it to do something on a survival basis. The second is you are doing it because you find escape from the regular things. Okay, for me, design is escape from day-to-day things. Okay, so in the starting, I have also worked with different agencies as a graphic designer, senior designer, and eventually the design head. So once I completed my design education, I started a job. Starting a job is not that bad. I'd say I've learned a lot from the job. Like I've worked in two jobs, and it's quite been an experience. And you get to meet a lot of people, and you get a lot of skills. It's just if you want to learn, you can learn in a job. And the other aspect is in today's time, you really don't need a job. You can start creating passion projects. You can start creating the kind of work that you want to. And eventually, if you'll put it on social media, create content around it, you'll start getting queries and clients as well. So these are both aspects how you can establish a career in design.
Understood. So I think the main thing that the main problem with actually getting into design and the main people facing the problems is that people don't start and they don't practice. I've seen like you actually designing a lot of different prototypes of logos in your notebook, right?
Sure.
I think that actually helps in like actually building a new logo, because while I was designing this designer's logo, my idea was building a thing which starts with D, and because D stands for designer, and I wanted a logo, this logo is basically a delta logo, and I was redesigning it again and again, and I made at least 100 of prototypes, 100 of different shapes matching the same design, and finally got into this logo. So what do you think about our logo?
So it looks amazing. There are certain things that can be done. That is like just fine tuning it. So this is something also a lot of logo designers lack. They will create a good concept with solid basis and research. Then they'll jump to the design and they'll create a good logo. But what they don't do is they do not create variations of it. They just don't give it time. So like any of logo design project last between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay. If I want to design a logo, I can do it in 2 hours. But is that relevant logo? Is that the logo that brands want? It is the right suitable logo for the brand? No, it is not. To do the research, to come up with a concept, create a mood board, and then start the logo design. And once you think you have the best logo possible, just stop working on that project, keep it aside, work on something else, and start after a break on the same logo. You'll see a lot of different variations, a lot of different things that you can tweak and make it better. And every time you do it, every time it gets better. But at certain point, you think that this is the perfect logo, then you can put it in a presentation. And there's another thing that comes that people do not really put their work in the presentation. So presentation is, although the conclusion of your project, it is not that of a strategical thing to do, but yeah, make someone understand your project,
Hmm.
create a good presentation. You can use AI here. That's something where AI should be used in presentation. If client wants to see that how our logo will look on a bicycle in a sand area or in a tropical humid area, you can just create a demo
Hmm.
for him that yeah, it might look something like this. So yeah, do a good presentation helps you get approvals quickly.
Yeah. So, as we have talked about various aspects of FMCG and overall package designing,
Mhm.
now it comes to resources. So, I would like to
Yeah.
ask, what resources do you use?
Okay. So I use a lot of mockups.
Okay.
That is one of the resources that I use from the internet. And then I also use certain illustrations that are basic, are not very specific or customized. And coming to resources, I also count knowledge as a very important resource.
Hmm.
And to gather it, I use a lot of interest. I used to scroll through Behance, but nowadays I think Behance is very cluttered with
Hmm.
AC kind of projects where you don't see any strategies there. Premium, if you search premium in Behance, you will get golden designs on a black background. So that is something. So for that, I use the Pinterest. It gives relevant results, and then you can try Save. It's a new kind of Pinterest for designer, but it is very limited.
Hmm.
But if you see, the designs there are quite useful. So I also use free pick as you mentioned. That is why I shared its logo. But yeah, I do not use it for the designs.
Hmm.
I use it for the inspiration, collecting vectors that I can modify according to my requirements.
Got it.
And other than that, there are a lot of things that you can get from the YouTube only. You get a lot of videos where you have 5 best books. You get a lot of videos where you can have different websites. There is AI website for everything,
Hmm.
like for colors, for typography, for collecting content, for generating images. So yeah, again,
Got it.
use AI. It's a good resource.
Understood. Now that we have all the resources as well,
Mhm.
people have this very weird thing in their mind that they always have to make something original of their own. And there is a book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. So many of the designers today don't want to take inspiration from other designs and basically taking inspiration. And overall I think many authors have said in designing specifically you can take inspiration and actually steal their work basically, just like Austin Kleon's book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what insights do you have on that?
Okay. So, as it is said that everything you do create has been already created.
Yeah.
Following that, yes, if you are really stick to doing something new, creating something unique,
Hmm.
maybe you should try art. But if you want to be a designer, or if you want to create designs for brands, you have to take inspiration. You have to take ideas, not really ideas, but concept, how they executed, how people have done it prior to you. So what's the hesitation? I think is people think it's stealing.
Hmm.
It's not stealing. It is just you have learned something from that piece of work
Hmm.
that you can incorporate.
Hmm.
We as a kid learn everything from our parents. We cannot say that we have stole it from them. No, we haven't.
Yeah.
It's just they taught us because they knew it already. So yes, save time to learn something new. Yes, you have to repeat it, you have to steal it, then create your own version. For example, I'm a designer, so I know design, but if I want to learn rap, maybe, so what I'll do, I'll repeat the raps of famous artists. I cannot go on creating a rap from the scratch.
Yeah.
Like if I'll go to creating music, start like writing songs, no, that is not something you do.
Hmm.
Just practice it. You start with something that is already done, you replicate it, and you then find your style. And that is why you should never hesitate to inspire or take inspiration from someone's work.
Okay.
It's totally fine. So here's a book.
Yeah.
This book, Still Like an Artist. Although if you read it, it does not ask you to steal, but yeah, how you can incorporate things that been already done.
Hmm.
And that.
Understood. So we have a new segment on the podcast today in this episode. We
Yeah.
recently put up a story on Designare's Instagram page for the audience to ask questions to you. So we can start that segment now. First question is from Atharva. He asks, what's the difference in like terms of design and mindset while designing for FMCG product and while selling a service?
Okay. Understood. So these are two different things. Selling a service means business. Creating a design means creating a solution for a brand. So when you want to sell a service, that is totally different. Like if I'm a logo designer and if I want to sell my logo design services, I might not use the methods that I use to create the logo designs or the packaging design. It is something, if you want to sell something, you have to represent yourself that you are the one who can help you with certain problems, can help people with certain problems. So how I position myself is, if you have a brand, you have started new, you have been in the market, but you are facing a lot of competition in terms of design, in terms of strategy. You are an old school brand, you do not know how you can take your business ahead. So I'll come up on my stories, create reels where I tell to designers as well as potential clients that you should do certain things. So I'm positioning myself as a brand designer. I'm selling my services. I'm selling myself. And on the other hand, designing for FMCG is something totally different, where you have to just research about the brand, you have to research about the competitors. For example, I'm working on a brand who sells atta, that is basically flour. So in order to create a brand in the already crowded market where there is Fortune, where there is already Asirvad, Pillsbury, a lot of big players, my client even don't want to compare with, but the same people who are consuming Asirvad will consume my client's product. So I have to research about what things can be done differently. So yeah, the aspect of both the things are different.
Understood.
And, and if not getting wrong, it was sell something and designing FMCG. The question was not about selling the FMCG products or selling your design.
Matlab, Atharva asked difference in terms of design, I think, which you covered, and also the mindset that followed with like the flower thing that you mentioned. Okay. I think Atharva's got his answer, I think. And now we have, now we have Ayan who asked, will we see a complete shift to like minimal package design?
Okay. There is certain use cases for minimal design requirements and also an audience. When I talk about me or you as an individual, you want the packaging of a phone or a earbud or a tech product maybe clean, very aesthetic from perspective of design rules and everything. Though from a perspective of a consumer, it doesn't matter what is the design. It is what he she feels about the product. And the same person who is buying an iPhone might not like simple design on a snacks packet. Might need to see that it's some masala chips. He would like to see some masala on the packaging as well, like colorful, vibrant designs. If you go to Haldiram, you don't want to buy a chips packet where on a flat white design it is written healthy chips. You will not buy it. until unless there's a certain emotion in the design that yeah, it is a certain kind of chips and it is not that oily, it is beneficial. Not chips are not usually beneficial, but yeah, to give an example, you need to communicate what is required with your design. So
Understood.
what you want to make your audience feel, you have to design accordingly.
Got it. So basically, different brands have different themes, and especially in like food department, as like FMCG is like mainly like fast moving consumer goods. There should be eye-catching designs. So I think Ayan, there won't be a complete shift towards minimal designs, but in some use cases, some different brands, some different domains will obviously use minimal packaging.
Minimalistic design has its limitation as of any other design style. But yeah, there can be a fusion as well in the future. Like people are experimenting with different style with minimal. But yeah, it is just a style type. You have to design according to the audience, not according to the preference of style.
Understood. So we have another question which is from Krish. He is asking, how do you deal with the creative block while working on a project?
So I'll give an common example, not specific to me, but yeah, it will be helpful. So if you are facing a creative block, that means there are two things. Either you are not clear what to do next, or you have been exhausted. If you are not clear what to do next, in that case, you have to just see it through from the scratch, like what you started and where you have reached. Is it the right direction? You want to move ahead, or you need to just get a step back, clear your mind, and start on a different direction. In that case, usually what happens for a logo design, let's take an example of logo design. If I'm working on a logo design and I talked with the client, I got certain image in my mind of the brand, and I started creating logo designs. And at certain points, I felt like these designs are not going with the brand. Either you can just review them yourself or just get a second opinion, and you can take a different direction. And once you are on the right direction, you won't be feeling that you have a creative block or something sort of that.
Understood.
Coming to the second thing, that is you are exhausted, so obviously you need to take a break. In my example, I have started like planting a lot in my balcony, so I have a lot of plants. I do just go there, spend some time, and I really don't feel creative blocks usually until I'm very exhausted with certain projects that I really don't want to work on, but I have to finish them. So in that case, my routine helps me a lot. Like I wake up early in the morning, do some workout, get back to my home with full energy, and then I'll start anything. I feel like I'm flowing with the ideas, flowing with the concept. And once I reach 2 p.m. in the day, I'm like, no, it cannot be done. It is so hard. So I don't do it. I create content, I engage with my audience. I'll just do I'll watch movies or web series. I'll watch a video. Do things that you usually don't do, other than the things that you're already working on. It will help you clear your mind and then clear your task as well.
Understood. Okay. So concluding the podcast with one last question of mine.
Sure.
How do you think Instagram is helping you in like growing you as a brand specifically, and you as a person as well? Do you think Instagram provides a specific tools to you? How is the process?
Understood. So let's not stick to Instagram. Let's stick to certain social media platforms. Does social media helps you become a better designer? That is one aspect. And does social media helps you be a good designer from the aspect of business as well? Yes, it does. Because you have a lot of exposure, you can create a reel, and if it goes viral, you will get a lot of queries. But are those queries or leads fruitful for you? And it can be, it cannot be. It is just you start on social media to leverage something from it. Can be an audience. Maybe you are a designer, you don't want to be involved in the design, you want to create a course. Okay, so you have to build an audience who will be buying your course. Honestly, you cannot create have that certain audience anywhere else.
Mm.
It is where social media plays a major role, the growth of a designer.
Mm.
For me, it has been very fruitful. Like I've grown to 15 or 16K as of now
Yeah.
in the past 3 to 4 months. But if I ask you to give a guess when had started my account, if you can just give a guess for the year.
2021.
Okay, so it was created in 2015.
Wow.
So when I created it, it was not for designs. It was
Mm.
just a personal account. So eventually I used to post a lot of my work.
Mm.
Obviously, I was not consistent. I really didn't expected people to see it or maybe get a client. I wanted to. I know it. I was like, it is not going to happen.
Mm.
Then initially, there have been multiple times when I started it with the full power. Like in 2019, during the lockdown, I started on it consistently, but again, energy was lost. I was not enough motivated because I had like 700 followers.
Okay.
And then again in 2020, I just one of my reels just blew up to 90K views.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to create content. I'm going to create a lot of content and get clients, and I'm going to be an independent designer.
Mm.
But then I lost my energy. I was not consistent. I was not active. I was not helping people. So for the past few months, I clearly made up my mind that yeah, I want to do something greater than what I'm doing currently.
Mm.
It can be anything. To start with something, I need to be very consistent. So I started posting continuously. I started engaging with my audience. It was 700 people in my audience, but yeah, I started it. Eventually, it got like one of my reel again blew up. Now it has almost 920K views and is still growing. I hope it reaches to 1 million. But
Yeah.
the main thing is that I'm consistently creating content, engaging with my audience, replying to every and each DM. Basically, I am helping people, whether they are my client or not. So yes, you can leverage the social media a lot, but you have to do it right way and do not fully depend on the social media. Create your network. That is something I also get a lot of work from. Like referrals is the main source I get work from, and then second is social media. And I'm planning to launch my website soon, so I'm not dependent on Facebook or Instagram, but yeah, on my own platform.
Amazing, amazing. So, guys, I hope you gained a lot of insights from Tushar.
Yeah.
And do let us know in the comments if you have any questions for us and Tushar specifically. Tushar, I hope that you had a good experience with me, and I loved your questions. All the answers were amazing, on point. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tushar, for having me.
Yeah, thank you once for just inviting me to the podcast.
Yeah.
And I really liked the flow, like how we went from question to question. I hope it helps you guys. And if you have any question, as once mentioned, you can ask in the comment section. And if you know me, you can directly ask me on DMs or in my stories. If you
Yeah.
don't, just Tushar Design, and you will get me. I hopefully. The thing
All the
is
links will
that
be in the description, guys. So you can find Tushar's
yeah,
social media over there as well. Thank you so much.
wait,
Thank you
you
so
can find my account. Yeah. So just concluding with one sentence that keep watching one's content. He is inviting a lot of good creators and inspirational people. I'm not one of them yet, but I'll be.
much.
I promise. You'll get a lot of good content and knowledge. So yeah, keep in tune.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Tushar.
thank you once.